Welcome to Charts Today, US Open. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 1st of November, comes to you from London. And stock markets are looking a little bit better again today. So we're seeing a gradual recovery this week, putting a bad October behind us and getting off to a reasonable start for November. The dollar actually sinking lower today, so we are seeing that just turning short-term bearish, but still looking very strong on the medium and long-term charts. And the euro consequently looking stronger against the dollar, moving to short-term bullish. The Japanese yen, we're seeing the dollar falling here as well, and sterling is up 1.3%, so we're really seeing a big jump there based on the hopes of a Brexit deal. Up 0.5% against the euro, and up nearly 1% against the Swiss franc. So we are seeing sterling looking strong across the board, not as strong against the Aussie dollar. Bitcoin, very little changed and still looking bearish. And looking at US markets, we've got the S&P 500 index is up 1/3%, but still bearish on that short-term chart. The Nasdaq did open lower, but has actually climbed a little bit now, and we're just above par for the day. So we are seeing the Nasdaq improving, and the Dow up 0.75%. So we're seeing the smaller held index strong, and also the Russell 2000, the broader-based index, looking strong, up nearly 1%, but not yet breaking that short-term bullish trend. We are seeing upside targets though, 2% here, and that is a feature that we're starting to see as the recovery, is that we're starting to see new targets build. FTSE is lower on that stronger sterling, and the DAX in Germany, we're seeing the future down, but the cash up. In fact, the FTSE future is just slightly higher. FTSE future is lower, FTSE market is slightly higher, and the mid caps in the UK up quite sharply, up 1.3%. And as we mentioned, the DAX up slightly. Paris is down, and Asia closed mostly mixed. Looking at gold, we're back to higher levels again, 1232, so we're back to short-term bullish there. That's given us a new upside target to 1253, so we are seeing gold looking better there, and silver also looking better as well. US 10-year yields holding steady at 3.16%, so 1.15%. Looking at stocks in Europe, we're seeing the FTSE 100, some big performers. BT's really topped the leaderboard all day today, and that's quite a big jump from them, really showing this recovery underway. Maybe we'll see a long-term recovery in BT shares. Interestingly, in the UK, the oil giants BP and Shell, who reported strong results but not quite as strong as the market expected. Shell looking weaker, down 3%, and that medium-term trend is bearish, but the long-term trend is still holding good. Shell are pretty well on par with the Dow Jones Index performance this year. Taking a look at the 250, we've got some pretty big performers here as well. James Fisher up 9%, Spire Health Group up 9%, CompuCenter up 8%. So we are seeing still some quite big performances. The key thing is a lot of these charts are still looking quite bearish. On the downside, we're seeing Dairy Crest falling further here, and John Wood, another oil stock, falling lower as well. So we are seeing quite a mixed picture. Interesting to note that tallow oil is also in the heavy fallers today. Looking at Europe, just the stock 600, we've got Morphosis up 13%, Billingsis up 13%, and ASM International up 4%. BT Group still popping pretty high up there as well. Looking over to the US, of course we're open an hour earlier, and while the US clocks have not gone back, that happens this weekend, so we will see the markets coming back into line. But looking at the Nasdaq, we see here we've got Apple down 1/3%, but still looking very strong, of course. Google actually up just very slightly, and Amazon up 1.66% after a very big sell-off in recent days. That relative trend really broken quite clearly there. Facebook off 0.75%, so struggling to hold any gains that we saw yesterday. And if you look at other stocks like Microsoft, down 0.5%. Tesla are actually up 1.8%. So we are seeing quite a mixed picture across the board there. Just looking at the leaders in the Nasdaq, we see here it's Win Resorts, NetEase, 6% gains there. So we are seeing some quite big moves, but bearish charts. Looking at the Dow 30, DuPont is the star today, up 7%, and looking very strong today, but very weak on that relative chart. 20% underperformance on the Dow, just oversold really. Caterpillar also a recent fall, up 1.7%, but a lot of these stocks trading off the bottom, but still looking pretty bearish. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.